I wanted to start with a case that we've been following in Decatur a lot. It's the Tanaja Barnes case with DCFS. And one of the criticisms maybe is that there wasn't a whole lot of funding maybe in place for the right amount of safety net in that incident. How do you address that? And what does the DCFS need?
Yeah, so let's start with the fact that there have been, I think, 12 directors over 10 years for DCFS. And so, you know, it needs steady leadership to start with. In particular, though, what has led to some of the challenges at DCFS has been the diminishment of the number of caseworkers and line workers, people who are actually directly dealing with the children and their families. It's something that I have heard directly from supervisors and many of the caseworkers. The number of cases that each one of them is handling has gone up and up and up, and of course funding has gone down. And so in my budget proposal, I included another funding for another 126 caseworkers. It's not enough, but it's a good start in the direction that we need to go. We of course had to, you know, rein in spending, make sure that we're doing the right thing in our 2020 budget in terms of balancing it. But some places I believed that we needed to put more money, and that was one. The leadership of the agency is of great concern to me, and it's one of the reasons that I have not named a new director yet. We have an interim director, someone who has a ton of experience in the agency, who is quite capable. But we've also done a national and statewide search for a new director, and we will be, over the next couple of weeks, naming that new director. So again, leadership and then having enough caseworkers, those are two things that I'm focused on in terms of putting DCFS back on a good path.
I realize the governor doesn't run state agencies hands-on, but can you see at your level policy changes at this point?
Well, the number one, let me back up maybe and just say, just so you know a little about me. I mean, having spent 20 years, more than 20 years, focused in early childhood, and particularly on the most at-risk kids. When you talk about DCFS, you're talking about the most at-risk of the most at-risk kids. And we don't have enough foster parents available. It's something that the agency in recent years hasn't focused on, attracting more foster parents. There have not been a lot of people who've been willing to volunteer to be foster parents. We need to do a much better job in that regard. But when I think of, you know, what it is that we need to be doing, for me anyway, focusing on the most at-risk of the most at-risk kids, something I believe is, you know, paramount for leadership in state government. When you say, you know, what is it that I can see or do directly as governor, the answer is good leadership in an agency makes all the difference. And I've tried to do that across all the other agencies. I think you've seen that I've been careful about hiring leaders who I thought were highly capable and came with the right kind of experience. You know, look at who we put in as the director of the Department of Agriculture, who we put in as the director of the Department of Innovation and Technology, which is an area that needs serious focus for the state, as do many of the others. I don't want to go through every one of them, but I think if you ask me about any of the leaders that we've put in place, they all, I would extol the virtues of all of them, frankly. And I think I'll be saying the same thing about the new DCFS director.